Hey everybody, how's it going? Many of you have commented that it seems that Apple is removing user reviews from their website for virtually all of their products. I find this somewhat interesting because it seems to be following a pattern. Whether they're not showing sales numbers for their phones, simply the dollar number of phones, so that they can hide the fact that sales are down, or rather than make the products more engaging, more interesting, they're simply hiding the complaints that people have about their products by getting rid of reviews on their website. It is a pattern of this little downhill spiral. And I think this is something that can be fixed if they go back to focusing on what it is that made them great. Focusing on the small elements of the user experience and the cohesiveness of it that every other company was forgetting about. Making the experience hassle-free. Making devices that just work. Because right now, Apple is the hardware, the same way that Windows Millennium Edition and Windows Vista were to software. People ran in droves from Microsoft-based machines to Apple-based machines because they were sick and tired of booting it up and having to run Windows updates simply for their web browser to even be able to properly open every time they clicked it, like in Windows Vista. They were tired of constantly getting viruses. They wanted something that just worked. And when you create a machine where the keyboard just stops working for no good reason, and then you tell people that they can fix it by blowing compressed air in it before a recall program, and you make a computer that can't even open and close properly without dying. When you make machines that with soldered in SSDs, charge chips that kill themselves that you won't sell to anybody else, phones that randomly stop getting service, have audio IC issues, and just ignore all of it, what you're doing is, what's happening here is that Apple is becoming the hardware equivalent of what Windows was when they released Windows Millennium Edition and Windows Vista. They're not able to run from those experiences by hiding sales figures and hiding reviews on their website. And I don't think that Apple is going to be able to run from this by hiding reviews on their website. The reality of the user experience, or how they were once praised for these great user experiences and now are not offering great user experiences, is going to be released to the world by people who use these products. Simply because you silence it on your own website does not mean that it is going to be silenced from everybody else. And I can completely understand and respect wanting to remove people that talk to you like garbage, treat you like garbage from your own comments section. But this is the review section of your own website for products, not people. And one of the things that I remember about this section of their website just 3 years ago is that it actually allowed me to refute claims from people who claim that I was using it wrong. When it comes to the adapter, one of the things that I found interesting is that I couldn't use the third-party USB-C to USB 3 dongle without it not crashing. The program wouldn't work, and also the Wi-Fi would die. Now, many people were saying, Lewis, no, you don't understand. You're using a third-party dongle. You got to get the original dongle. The original dongle is great. It works perfectly. But also, this is an issue with USB and 2.4 gigahertz radio interference. This is going to happen with anything you use. What I found interesting were two things. A, the fact that I had a Dell XPS right next to me that worked perfectly fine, internet perfectly fine, and my USB 3 capture hardware worked perfectly fine with the same dongle. But B, when people were talking about how great that original dongle is, I was able to click this link and see that, no, it wasn't that I was using it wrong. I wasn't holding it wrong. It just sucked. You can see over here, you wouldn't be able to tell that by looking at their page right now. But if you had looked at their page a few years ago, stopped working, do not buy, save your money, doesn't pass through with third parties, doesn't work with older HDMI devices, kills power pass-through, can't use USB port to charge my iPhone, poor quality, stopped working after 2 months, and blah, blah, blah. Now this over here, this old Google cached content says it is based on 14 reviews. There were over 60 reviews of that dongle 3 years ago when I did that review. I remember from having looked at it, so something funky has happened there. You can hide the sales figures, and you can hide the user experiences on your website. But you can't hide the user experiences on every other website where people are going to talk about it. People went to Apple because they wanted to avoid this type of nonsense everywhere else. If you want to return to greatness, then don't make it difficult for people to use their machines. People don't need these revolutionary, ridiculous keyboard designs. They don't need this, like, saving 1/1000th of a millimeter at the expense of being able to open and close the machine regularly. They don't need this 1/1000th of a millimeter in exchange, in lieu of the phone's ability to have service or for the audio IC to work. What they want is a seamless user experience where you care about the small elements of the user experience that every other company doesn't care about. Part of that also being repair. Return to that, and you will be amazingly successful. Put your time and effort into junk like this, removing reviews from your site, hiding sales figures. That's not going to actually move the ball forward, because that doesn't change the customer experience. It simply changes whether or not people are going to have access as easily to the reality of the experience of using your products. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. You can review Rossmann Repair Group on Yelp or Google Places. Let us know exactly what you think of us. I can't delete it. See you in the next video.
Morning breaks beyond the night, and she's a world away. Through crowded streets, this quiet hooded stranger makes her way. Lost in this moment is where I want to stay. This can't be